I've been an art teacher for well over 30 years, and the last 15 years have been in a rehabilitation situation. And I've understood that these art lessons help my students, patients, clients understand themselves better. And when you know more about yourself, you are empowered to be a better person. Some of the art classes are in schools and some of them are in rehabs. And here are just a couple examples. It's always good to capture every thought that goes into your mind, and so I really like my students to be able to have a visual for their negative thoughts and a visual for their positive thoughts. So we do felt puppets, and here's the obvious one, which is the devil and the angel. But here was a 12-year-old little boy who made a time bomb and a light bulb. And this helps to have a visual when you're in your negative state of mind, because then you can capture every thought and have the tools to turn it around. Well, actually, I've been putting the book together for 30 years. It was easy to just compile it because I've been taking pictures my whole life of all the art lessons and all the art pieces that my students have been doing. And so I just compiled all the pictures that I had, and it's called The Stories Behind the Art, because whenever I show the art projects, people always want to know what the story is behind the art. Here's an example. This was a 16-year-old girl, and she made an inside-outside box. The outside is how you present yourself to the world, and she chose bright colors, pink and yellow, and flowers and pearls, and she wrote confident, A+, perfect, and that's how she presents herself to the world. But the inside is how she really feels. And you'll notice it's black, and it says sad, afraid, alone, and she has a net in here because she stuffs all her feelings, and you'll notice that there's a black flower in there. So this is how she gets to see if she's very authentic. Now, if you're authentic, then the inside is going to be similar to the outside. But in this case, it's a visual, so she can see that this is not working for her. And one interesting point was she wanted to throw this box away because the black was seeping out, but there are no mistakes in art, and I think she figured it out that her inside was seeping out. Okay, here's an example of a 9-year-old boy made this, and the directive was, what's going on in your life right now? And this 9-year-old little boy made himself blue, and he's in the corner, and here is his mom, his dad, and his new little baby sister. And obviously, he didn't have the words to express to his parents how he felt, but when he made this piece of artwork, it just all came out. So I asked him, I said, what is the title of this piece of artwork? And it's What About Me? When his parents saw this, they were just heartbroken because they realized that they were paying more attention to the new little baby than the 9-year-old boy. A lot of times in the art classes, especially the fathers will say, I can't do art. Well, I always tell them that everybody's creative. It may be in the garden, it may be behind the computer or in the kitchen. So I just try to have them relax. And one gentleman in particular said, well, all I can draw are stick figures. So I said, okay, draw a stick figure that tells us how you feel about your daughter dying. She was in a rehabilitation center dying from an eating disorder. So with just a stick figure, he made this drawing. And it's so obvious to his daughter. She saw it and realized that he felt like he was drowning because he was not taking care of his family. So with even just a stick figure, you can really make an impact through art. My expectations for the book are to get it into several different venues. I'm thinking that schools are the perfect place, and it could be an after-school program, It could be facilitated by a parent. It could be an in-school program, because right now the character education is mandatory in all schools, but art is being deleted because of budgetary constraints. And so this curriculum is both. It's a win-win. It's teaching character education through art. So obviously schools, public and private, home schools, and senior citizen centers, rehabilitation centers. It could be a licensed therapist that facilitates, or it could just be an aide that teaches the art lessons, because they are in a lesson plan format. Here is one final example, and this is actually on the cover of the book. And this was done by a father who didn't have the words to express to his daughter how he was feeling about her being in a rehab situation. And so when I asked him, I said, well, how do you feel about your daughter being in this situation? He said, well, it's like a tidal wave that has taken over our family. And so bingo, he made this most wonderful piece of artwork that described to his family how he was feeling about his daughter being in a dreaded situation. I think if you're a parent or a grandparent, you could use these art classes. I think if you're a teacher or if you're a therapist, I think anybody can use these classes. It's very empowering when you know more about yourself, because the wisdom is something that actually helps you put your hands on the steering wheel of your life. Once you know where you are and where you want to go, you can measure your success.